Rohan, known as the Land of the Horse Lords, is one of the most iconic realms in the Lord of the Rings. Tolkien describes it as a vast expanse of golden plains, where the wind blows freely and horses gallop with unmatched grace. This landscape, rich in symbolism, is not merely a backdrop. It is a direct reflection of the soul and values of its people. Situated north of the White Mountains and south of the great river Anduin, Rohan is a land of open fields and rolling hills. Tolkien depicts its plains as covered in golden grass that glimmers under the sunlight, earning the region its poetic nickname, the Golden Mark. The hills of Rohan house fortified cities like Edoras, the kingdom's capital, built at the base of a mountain. At the heart of Edoras lies the Golden Hall of Meduseld, a symbol of the power and tradition of Rohan's kings. The landscape of Rohan was inspired by real-world places Tolkien encountered during his life, such as the sweeping plains of rural England. This unique geography is crucial to the narrative, reflecting the freedom, resilience, and connection to nature that define the Rohirrim. The culture of Rohan is inseparable from its horses. The people of Rohan, known as the Rohirrim, are renowned as the finest breeders and riders in all of Middle-earth. To them, horses are far more than mere animals. They are companions, symbols of identity, and partners in battle. The great horses of Rohan, like Shadowfax, are revered for their intelligence, strength, and loyalty. Tolkien built this cultural connection on his admiration for historical nomadic and equestrian peoples, such as the Scythians and Huns, while also drawing parallels to the Anglo-Saxons. The Rohirrim are portrayed as a people deeply proud of their traditions, living simply yet always ready to defend their land and king. In The Lord of the Rings, Rohan stands as a bastion of resistance against the forces of Sauron and Saruman. Its strategic position, located on the road to Gondor, makes it a critical target for its enemies. However, the strength of the Rohirrim lies not only in their martial skill, but also in their resilience and unity as a people. The challenges Rohan faces, such as Saruman's betrayal and the Orc invasions, serve as metaphors for the internal and external struggles any society endures. This constant battle to preserve their identity and freedom resonates deeply with audiences, making Rohan much more than just a fictional setting. Rohan is far more than a kingdom. It is an idea. It represents freedom, courage, and the unyielding fight for survival against seemingly insurmountable odds. The Golden Hall of Meduseld, for instance, symbolizes both the pride and vulnerability of its people. It is a fortress of beauty and strength, but also a reminder of the losses and challenges Rohan endures. Moreover, the bond between the Rohirrim and their horses symbolizes the interdependence between humans and nature. In times of war, this partnership is vital, highlighting the balance required between strength and compassion, between mastery and harmony. Understanding the land and people of Rohan is essential to appreciating the depth of the heroes it produces. Théoden, the king, and Éomer, the loyal rider, are not merely leaders. They are products of a land that values courage, honor, and resilience. Their journeys embody the intrinsic values of Rohan, and their choices shape the fate of the kingdom. Théoden, the king of Rohan, is introduced in The Two Towers as a weakened figure, dominated by the manipulation of Grima Wormtongue and the spell of Saruman. He is not just an aging ruler, he is a symbol of a kingdom in decline. His apathy mirrors the state of Rohan itself, a land threatened by external forces and corroded by internal betrayals. Théoden's transformation throughout the story is one of the most powerful journeys in The Lord of the Rings. At first, he is portrayed as a king unable to make decisions for himself, completely under Grima's influence. His words are few, and his slumped posture symbolizes a defeat that is not only physical, but also spiritual. The arrival of Gandalf at the Golden Hall marks the beginning of his change. In an iconic scene, Gandalf confronts Grima and Saruman, freeing Théoden from his invisible chains. This liberation is not just magical, it is deeply symbolic. Théoden is called back to his role as a leader, regaining his strength and mental clarity. Tolkien uses this transformation as a powerful metaphor for overcoming toxic influences and rediscovering inner strength. It is a universal lesson. Even in the darkest situations, there is always a chance to rise again. Théoden not only reclaims his position as king, he is reborn as a renewed leader, capable of facing the challenges ahead. After his liberation, Théoden faces a critical decision. to flee or to fight. He chooses to lead his people to Helm's Deep, a legendary fortress where he intends to resist the impending attack from Saruman's forces. This decision is a turning point in his journey, demonstrating his renewed determination and his willingness to sacrifice everything for his people. On the journey to Helm's Deep, Théoden begins to regain his confidence as a leader. His interactions with Éomer, Aragorn, and other members of the company reveal his emotional depth and the weight of the choices he carries as king. He comes to understand that leadership is not just about making decisions, it is about inspiring hope in times of despair. The Battle of Helm's Deep is one of the most memorable moments in the trilogy, both in the books and films. Théoden takes center stage, leading the defenders with courage and resolve. Despite overwhelming odds, he keeps morale high, embodying the resilient spirit of Rohan. Tolkien describes Théoden in combat as an imposing figure, wielding his sword with strength and rallying his warriors with inspiring words. In one of the most stirring moments, he leads a charge against the enemy forces at dawn, a scene that has become emblematic of resistance and the fight against adversity. Although Théoden achieves glory at Helm's Deep, his ultimate sacrifice comes at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields during the defense of Minas Tirith. Riding Shadowfax, he leads the riders of Rohan in an epic charge against Sauron's forces. His bravery in this moment represents the pinnacle of his journey as a leader. Théoden meets his end, facing the Witch King of Angmar, the most feared of the Nazgûl. Despite succumbing to his wounds, his courage inspires not only the Rohirrim but also Éowyn, who confronts and defeats the Witch King, fulfilling the prophecy that he would not be slain by a man. Théoden's death is not a defeat, but an act of sacrifice that reinforces the values of courage and honor. Théoden's legacy is enduring. He is remembered not only as a king who fought bravely, but as a leader who rose in a time of need, saving his people and restoring Rohan's glory. His transformation serves as an example for leaders in all walks of life. True leadership is forged in adversity, and personal sacrifice is the highest form of service. As Théoden leaves behind a legacy of courage and sacrifice, the mantle passes to Éomer, who takes up the leadership of Rohan. As Théoden's successor, Éomer represents the continuity of the kingdom's values while bringing his unique perspective to leadership. Let us now delve into Éomer's journey, the loyal rider who became king. If Théoden represents the resilience of a king, Éomer embodies the strength of a loyal warrior. Introduced in the Two Towers, Éomer emerges as Théoden's nephew, heir to the throne of Rohan, and a rider whose loyalty to the kingdom remains unwavering even in the face of personal and political adversity. Éomer is portrayed as a man of strong principles, but his loyalty is tested when Grima Wormtongue banishes him from the kingdom for defying corrupt orders. This temporary exile only strengthens his resolve and establishes his narrative as someone who fights for what is right, even if it means opposing authority. Éomer's defining trait is his loyalty, not just to Théoden, but also to Rohan and its ideals. Even in exile, he continues to guard the kingdom's borders, leading a band of riders who hunt orcs and protect the defenseless. His loyalty is not blind, it is guided by a deep sense of justice and duty. Tolkien uses Éomer to explore the concept of emerging leadership, someone who acts as a leader before officially holding the position. Éomer does not seek power. His motivation is to serve his people and defend his land, a quality that makes his journey profoundly inspiring. On the battlefield, Éomer stands out as a brave and skilled warrior. He plays a crucial role in the Battle of Helm's Deep, leading a decisive charge that turns the tide against Saruman's forces. His presence in combat is both physical and moral. His courage inspires those around him to fight with greater determination. Tolkien depicts Éomer as a leader who prefers to fight on the front lines, a trait that connects him directly to the people he serves. In a notable scene, he declares, "Where now the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that was blowing?" evoking the warrior spirit of Rohan and rallying his comrades to fight with honor. The Battle of the Pelennor Fields marks the pinnacle of Éomer's journey. With Théoden gravely wounded, he takes command of the Rohirrim in a moment of chaos and despair. Éomer leads a charge that not only changes the course of the battle, but also symbolizes the unbreakable strength of Rohan. In this moment, Tolkien highlights Éomer's humanity. When he discovers Théoden's body and believes his sister Éowyn to be dead, he is overcome with grief. Yet he channels this pain into a fierce determination to fight on. This combination of vulnerability and strength makes Éomer a deeply relatable and inspiring character. Following Théoden's death, Éomer is crowned King of Rohan, a role he assumes with humility and resolve. He pledges to honor his uncle's legacy, preserving the values that define the kingdom. Under his leadership, Rohan not only recovers from the wars, but also enters an era of renewal and prosperity. Though Tolkien does not delve deeply into Éomer's reign as king in the books, fans often speculate about how his experiences shaped his governance. What is clear is that Éomer brings a unique blend of courage, loyalty, and strategic vision to his role, paving the way for a promising future for Rohan. Éomer symbolizes the strength that arises from adversity. His journey proves that leadership is not defined by position or title, but by actions and character. He teaches that loyalty and integrity are more powerful than any weapon, and that true leadership is demonstrated on life's battlefield, facing challenges with courage and resolve. With Éomer's ascent to the throne, Rohan enters a period of stability and hope. Yet the stories of Rohan's heroes do not end here. Their legacies leave timeless lessons about leadership, sacrifice, and resilience. Let us now explore how these lessons can be applied to real life, translating the courage and honor of Théoden and Éomer into the daily lives of leaders and dreamers. Théoden teaches us that leadership is not defined by the absence of flaws, but by the ability to recognize and overcome them. When he is freed by Gandalf, we don't just see a king regaining his physical strength, we see a leader rediscovering his purpose. This transformation serves as a powerful reminder that even the most seasoned leaders can lose their way, but there is always an opportunity to redirect the course. Théoden's decision to fight at Helm's Deep is emblematic. Instead of fleeing to seek temporary safety, he chooses to protect his people by leading them into battle. This choice underscores a crucial lesson. Leadership isn't just about making strategic decisions, it's about bearing the weight of those decisions with responsibility. For Théoden, leadership is an act of service, and his willingness to sacrifice himself for the greater good makes him a model of selfless courage. While Théoden demonstrates leadership through experience, Éomer exemplifies the power of emerging leadership. Even before becoming king, he acts as one, showing that true leadership is defined by actions, not titles. His unwavering loyalty to Rohan, even during his exile, reflects a commitment that transcends personal interests. Éomer also reminds us of the importance of leading by example. His presence on the front lines, fighting alongside his comrades, strengthens the confidence of his followers. He demonstrates that an effective leader is one who inspires through their actions, sharing both the hardships and triumphs with their people. Both Théoden and Éomer embody the concept of sacrifice as an essential component of leadership. Théoden gives his life on the Pelennor fields, knowing that his death will not be in vain, but will reignite hope among his followers. His ultimate sacrifice declares that the well-being of the collective outweighs individual interests. Éomer, on the other hand, sacrifices his personal safety by enduring exile and risking his life in countless battles, always prioritizing the good of Rohan. These acts teach us that true leadership often demands relinquishing comfort and facing monumental challenges for a greater purpose. The challenges faced by Théoden and Éomer offer timeless lessons that can be applied to a wide range of real-life contexts. Here are a few. 1. Recognize and overcome personal obstacles. Just as Théoden had to confront his manipulation and apathy, leaders in the real world must identify and address their own internal or external roadblocks. 2. Lead through actions, not just words. Éomer showed that personal example is the most powerful way to inspire trust and motivation in others. 3. Face adversity with courage. Both figures teach us that even when all seems lost, courage and determination can turn the tide. 4. Serve with selflessness. Théoden's willingness to sacrifice his life demonstrates that great leaders put the group's interests above their own. 5. Value teamwork. Leadership is not a solitary effort. Both Théoden and Éomer rely on alliances and the support of their followers to achieve victory. Although the stories of Théoden and Éomer are rooted in a fictional world, their lessons transcend the boundaries of fantasy. In a corporate environment, for instance, leaders can learn from Théoden the importance of revitalizing demotivated teams, and from Éomer how to maintain integrity in challenging situations. On a personal level, these values can inspire individuals to overcome obstacles and fight for their goals. The sacrifices made by both characters also resonate in modern times, where great leaders often face criticism and hardships while striving to implement meaningful change. The willingness to sacrifice for the collective good remains a characteristic that inspires across all areas of life. While the lessons of leadership and sacrifice from Théoden and Éomer are deeply inspiring, the true magic of these stories lies in how they continue to impact our lives and popular culture. In the next chapter, we'll explore how these values and Rohan's narrative find parallels in the real world and historical figures, demonstrating that Tolkien's heroes are as relevant today as they were when they were first written. Though set in a fictional world, the stories of Théoden and Éomer touch on deeply human values like resilience, courage, and selfless leadership. These values transcend Tolkien's narrative and find parallels in historical events and contemporary figures. They remind us that whether in epic battles or daily challenges, the essence of leadership and sacrifice remains universal. Rohan, with its culture rooted in honor and service to others, represents an idealized vision of communities that face adversity together. This concept can be seen in historical societies like the Spartans of ancient Greece or medieval European knights, whose codes of conduct prioritized loyalty and the defense of their people. In Théoden, we see an archetype that resonates with historical leaders who endured times of crisis. His journey from passivity to action mirrors that of Winston Churchill during World War II. Like Théoden, Churchill faced criticism and moments of doubt before leading with steadfast determination during one of modern history's darkest periods. Just as the King of Rohan was freed from the grip of Grima and Saruman, Churchill overcame political pressures and personal uncertainties to inspire an entire nation. Both demonstrate that leadership is a journey of continuous growth and that renewal is possible even in the face of monumental challenges. Éomer's integrity reflects that of leaders and historical figures who upheld their values even when faced with personal adversity. A modern parallel can be drawn with Nelson Mandela, who despite decades of imprisonment remained loyal to principles of equality and justice. Like Éomer, Mandela acted as a leader even when he did not officially hold the title. Both teach us that true leadership is not defined by power or position, but by actions taken in defense of something greater than oneself. They show that determination and courage can transform not just an individual, but an entire society. Sacrifice plays a central role in Rohan's stories, and this value remains equally relevant in the real world. During the COVID-19 pandemic, healthcare workers, community leaders, and essential workers embodied these principles, putting others' safety above their own needs. These acts echo the selflessness of Théoden and Éomer, proving that the spirit of service is timeless. Additionally, business and social leaders often face decisions that require prioritizing the greater good over personal interests. Théoden's willingness to face death and Éomer's determination to protect his people offer lessons that continue to inspire selfless decisions in contemporary contexts. The influence of Rohan extends beyond practical lessons. The kingdom's culture and values continue to inspire creators and communities around the world. Many modern organizations embrace similar values of teamwork, courage, and ethical leadership, often citing Tolkien's examples to reinforce their principles. Furthermore, Rohan's impact can be seen in various contemporary fantasy works that incorporate themes of loyalty and sacrifice into their narratives. Tolkien's work continues to shape popular culture, demonstrating how fictional stories can inspire real-world change. The values exemplified by Théoden and Éomer can be applied not only in grand contexts, but also in everyday situations. Whether leading a team at work, raising children, or facing personal challenges, the principles of courage, resilience, and selflessness remain relevant. For example, 1. At work, a manager supporting their team during difficult times, much like Théoden led his people at Helm's Deep. 2. In personal life, a friend or family member who remains loyal and present, even during hardships, reflecting Éomer's loyalty. 3. In society, volunteers and activists dedicating their time and effort to help their communities, embodying the spirit of service seen in Rohan's heroes. While the parallels between Rohan's heroes and real-world figures reinforce their relevance, the emotional impact of these stories goes beyond practicality. In the next chapter, we'll explore how the inspiration of Rohan continues to shape the imagination and hearts of fans worldwide, highlighting the transformative power of these narratives. Rohan, with its vast golden plains and unmatched horsemen, has transcended its role as a fictional kingdom. For fans of The Lord of the Rings, it represents enduring values like courage, sacrifice, and unity. This emotional connection with audiences reinforces Rohan's cultural and spiritual impact, making it a source of inspiration not only for future stories, but also for those seeking strength in times of hardship. The universal appeal of Rohan lies in its humanity. Though part of a fantasy universe, its struggles, victories, and sacrifices reflect real human experiences. This ability to blend the epic with the personal is what makes Rohan so resonant. Since the release of Peter Jackson's film trilogy, Rohan's popularity has skyrocketed. The Battle of Helm's Deep, in particular, is often hailed as one of the most iconic battle scenes in modern cinema, exemplifying bravery against overwhelming odds. Howard Shore's score, especially the Hornburg, has become synonymous with heroism, evoking a sense of resilience that extends far beyond the screen. This influence isn't limited to entertainment. In sports, business, and education, Rohan's spirit is often invoked as an example of inspiring leadership and resilience. Sports teams have adopted the Rohirrim's battle cry as a symbol of determination, and businesses use Rohan analogies to inspire teamwork and innovation. Rohan's impact is also deeply felt within fan communities. Tolkien enthusiasts frequently recreate the Rohirrim's culture at gatherings, celebrating its rich mythology and aesthetic. From detailed cosplay to reenactments of battles, these fans keep the spirit of Rohan alive. Moreover, artists and writers often draw inspiration from Rohan to create derivative works that explore themes of courage and sacrifice. Poems, music, and fan fiction capture the kingdom's essence, demonstrating how it continues to spark creativity and connection. For many, Rohan is more than a fictional place. It is a metaphor for their own struggles and triumphs. Théoden, with his journey of renewal, stands as a reminder that it's never too late to rise again. Éomer, with his unwavering loyalty, teaches that strength comes from integrity and commitment to one's values. These stories help individuals face their own Helm's Deeps, motivating them to persevere through challenges and believe that, like the Rohirrim, they can find strength even in the darkest moments. Rohan's impact shows no signs of fading. Future works based on Tolkien's universe, such as series and spin-offs, continue to revisit the kingdom and its characters, reaffirming its cultural significance. More importantly, Rohan remains a symbol of inspiration for those who strive to face challenges with courage and dignity. As we conclude our journey through the kingdom of Rohan, the heroes Théoden and Éomer remain etched in our minds as timeless examples of leadership and sacrifice. In the next chapter, we'll distill the lessons learned and reinforce the message that, like the heroes of Rohan, we all can find the strength to lead and inspire in our own lives. Throughout this exploration of the heroes of Rohan, we revisited the journey of Théoden, the king who rose again, and Éomer, the loyal rider who became a leader. These characters, though fictional, embody timeless values that continue to inspire people worldwide. From the strength to overcome manipulation and apathy, to unwavering loyalty and selfless sacrifice, Théoden and Éomer serve as models of leadership and resilience that transcend Middle-earth. We've seen how the land of Rohan, with its culture and epic landscapes, is more than just a setting. It's a metaphor for struggle and freedom. We explored the parallels between these characters' stories and real-life figures, showing that lessons learned in a fantasy world are deeply applicable to the real one. What do the heroes of Rohan teach us? Some of the central lessons include: 1. The importance of rising again. Théoden reminds us that even those who have fallen into despair can find the strength to rise and lead again. 2. Leadership. Through example, Éomer shows us that true leadership is acting with integrity and inspiring trust through actions, not just words. 3. Sacrifice for the greater good. Both heroes embody the value of self-sacrifice for the collective, highlighting that true leadership is service to others. 4. Courage amid adversity. Rohan teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to face challenges with honor. 5. Unity and community. The strength of the Rohirrim lies in their unity, reminding us that together we are stronger. The values of Rohan remain relevant because they reflect universal human aspirations. Théoden and Éomer's courage inspires people to face their own challenges, whether big or small. Whether it's a leader overcoming workplace difficulties, a student striving toward their goals, or someone working to overcome personal loss, these heroes' stories provide a roadmap for finding strength and purpose. Rohan also reminds us that we are not alone in our battles. Community and mutual support are essential for overcoming adversity. Just as the Rohirrim relied on their leaders and each other, we can find strength in our connections with others. What can we learn from Théoden and Éomer that we can apply to our lives today? This is the central question that concludes this journey. Reflecting on their stories calls us to action. How can we lead with greater courage? Where in our lives can we demonstrate more loyalty and integrity? And in what situations can we prioritize the collective good over our own needs? These are questions each of us can answer, inspired by the heroes of Rohan. Leadership, courage, and sacrifice are not reserved for kings and knights. They are qualities anyone can adopt in their own life. As we close this chapter on the heroes of Rohan, remember that true strength lies not in the absence of challenges, but in how we face them. Just as Théoden found strength in his vulnerability, and Éomer stayed true to his values even in times of uncertainty, we can all lead with courage and resilience. May your journey, like the heroes of Rohan, be marked by choices that inspire, strengthen, and transform. And in your most challenging moments, may you find strength in the memory of the riders who charged against all odds, with the light of dawn illuminating their swords.